Could you tell us what the significance with this map in the Secwepemc Reconciliation Framework Agreement?
Yeah, I think people should get a hold of the agreement. And, it's actually on the internet. If you actually typed up Secwepemc Reconciliation Framework Agreement, it'll come up on the BC government website, because that's how significant this agreement is. And if you go to that web page, you'll see that there's like about around 8 or 10 agreements around the province where they're actually pushing the same kind of process. And the agreements are all similarly the same. But one of the things that I do know, just getting back to the map part, because the map is actually on page 29 of that 78-page document, and it basically lists out 3 different bands, assessment of where their band territory is, and to a certain extent they go back to this divisional notion that the Secwepemc had different divisions, and the present chiefs and council, the elected Indian Act chief and councils are actually going to be following that kind of governance type process. But I really do not sort of feel that that's the direction that we should be going, because one of the things about the map, once you take a look at it, it doesn't follow what was identified by the Secwepemc as being our Secwepemc traditional territory, where one of the bands actually claim right down to, I guess, right down to the Canada-U.S. border. And I know they're really going to annoy a lot of people, other indigenous people that live in those areas, and you're going to wind up creating a fight. And then some people are going to say, well, these are just areas that we're going to be asked for reconciliation opinions or referral opinions and that. But the thing is that one of the things I can tell you is that when I was, a few years ago, I decided that I would fly down to Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, to watch the Hulkaminam, who were appearing before the Organization of American States Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, where they were arguing that the province and the federal government couldn't deny that fee simple lands could be excluded from treaty negotiation process, because Hulkaminam are part of the BC treaty process. But when I was sitting in the audience there and listening, they had the Hulkaminam on one side, and they had Canada, the government of Canada, on the other side, and they had the tribunal sitting in front. Canada argued in that meeting that Indigenous people could not have their title and rights really recognized because of the overlap in their territory, and because what would happen because of that overlap would be that they would get into fights with each other, and the whole economy of British Columbia would cave in, and that because of that everybody will get hurt, because of this incapacity of the Indian people to be able to agree on their own territorial boundaries. So that's where a lot of people don't understand that when you do things like this map here, where some band pushed their border all the way down to the United States borderline and through Okanagan and Tanaka territory, they're going to wind up, really getting a lot of people in that area upset. You know what I mean? And it's going to be that cross-border issue that these people are generating that's really going to cause more trouble than benefit to anybody. So when you're doing your little penmanship and making maps, you need to be very careful. Literally, I think that the Secwepemc territory should be the older map that I know. My brother's generation and my grandfather and my dad's generation, they put together way back based on information they had from my grandparents. which I think is a lot more solid as a map regarding our territory, and that there should only be one map for the Secwepemc Nation. I think this whole idea of dividing ourselves up because Tate said that we were in divisions, I think is totally wrong. You know, the reason the Secwepemc territory was so large to begin with was because we, despite our differences, we were united as one as a nation when it came to protecting the full geography of our territory. And right now the biggest culprit is not adjacent native people. The biggest culprit is the provincial government. The biggest culprit are the people wanting to get unfettered access to our territory without any real substantive consultation and accommodation with us. Those are the real problems. And so this map right here, I have no affinity to it. I really don't believe in it. And I know for one thing that sort of really annoys me about it is like it looks like Kamloops and those bands have actually claimed Cache Creek. And if you take a look at the agreement, I don't really see Bonaparte listed in the whole thing. So I don't know what happened there in terms of these guys' envisionment of who is or who isn't part of the nation, because I think the people from Bonaparte are part of it. And I'm just looking over the thing because it's got Kamloops here, it's got Skeech, it's got Adams Lake, Nisconla, and Splatcheen, and North Thompson, and that's it. You know, and then if you take a look at it here, it has Cache Creek in here and stuff like that, but it doesn't have Bonaparte. You know, like Bonaparte, I always thought it was part of the Secwepemc Nation as far as I know, and it's not here. And that's what this map stuff does, you know, it makes people go a little bit technicolor and imagination, and I don't agree with this map at all.
Can we show the map?
Oh yeah. This is the map right there. You can't see it on the radio though.